Hi, welcome to another Tasty Tuesday on Christie's A+ Cooking. Today, V is for vintage recipes. And the featured recipe today is ginger snaps. Let's get started. I had a lot of fun deciding which recipe to use because Ken gave me this wonderful 1887 reprint of the original White House cookbook recipes. And so I looked through it and I decided that I wanted to make ginger snaps. So we're going to get started. I'm going to take 3/4 cups of room temperature butter, 1 cup of sugar, and of course the recipes are a little different, but I found a vintage recipe on Taste of Home. 1/4 cup of dark molasses. And yes, this molasses is vintage because the company was created in the 1890s. And 1 large egg. We're going to combine that till it's light and fluffy. So the wet ingredients are light and fluffy. I'm going to add 2 1/4 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And the spices are 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, and 1/2 teaspoon of cloves. And then we're just going to mix it in by hand. I used to wonder why they decided to mix the dry ingredients by hand, and I have a really good friend that made the best chocolate chip cookies, Margaret Brigham, and she told me that, because when I'd say, my cookies don't taste as good as yours, and she goes, well, do you hand mix in the dry ingredients? And I said, no. And so ever since I did that, they just turn out so much better. As you can see, I've already prepared some of the cookies for baking, but you're gonna take a scoop. I love my Pampered Chef cookie scoop, and then you're gonna roll it into sugar. And I started with about 1/2 cup of sugar. This makes about 2 to 3 dozen cookies, depending on how big you make your cookie ball. And we're gonna bake these for 9 to 10 minutes at 350. Depending on how crunchy you want your cookies, that's the difference between the 9 and 10 minutes. And as they're baking, they will flatten out. I baked the cookies for 9 minutes, and you can see they're lightly browned around the edge because I like mine a little softer. And now comes the fun part. I'm gonna put a twist on these cookies. I melted some white chips in the microwave on 50% power for about 1.5 minutes, and you just do 15-second intervals and keep stirring it. Now I have a Pampered Chef chocolate drizzler, and that's my favorite way to do it. And I'm just gonna take it and drizzle it back and forth. You can see it goes really fast. If you don't have this fancy contraption, you can just use a little Ziploc bag and cut off the corner. Another fun way you can do it is just to take a fork and drizzle it that way. It's almost as effective. Or you can just take your cookie, dip it about halfway, and then you can just add a few sprinkles to make it a little more festive. Here is today's recipe. I can't wait to share these with my family and friends. If you're enjoying my videos, be sure to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and tell all your family and friends about it. Thanks for watching Tasty Tuesday, and I'll see you next week.